The crisp autumn morning in Manhattan felt particularly sharp as I made my way through the crowded streets toward our office building. At 28, I had already achieved what my parents had always pushed me toward: a senior position at a leading tech firm, a comfortable salary, and the supposed security that came with it. Yet, as I stood in the elevator, watching the floor numbers climb, I couldn't shake off the familiar weight of expectations that had been my constant companion since childhood. My earliest memories were always tinged with the same theme. Excellence was not just expected, it was demanded. While my sister Vivian played with dolls, I was drilling multiplication tables. Now, 20 years later, I found myself still dancing to the same tune. "Kate, hold the elevator. You're early today, again." Monica Chen, my best friend since college and now our HR manager, rushed in just before the doors closed. "Had to finish some reports before the mortgage payment goes out." "Still paying for your parents' house? You know, most people our age are saving for their own homes, not buying them for others." "They spent everything on my education, Mon. What choice do I have?" "You always say that. But what about Vivian? They didn't spend a dime on her education, and now she's living her best life as a part-time stylist." The truth in Monica's words stung. My sister had dropped out of community college after one semester, declaring it wasn't her thing. Yet our parents had merely shrugged it off. The memory of my dad's words from that time still echoed in my mind. "Vivian is just finding herself." "You were always the responsible one, Catherine." "Morning, Kate. Those quarterly reports keeping you up late again?" James Taylor from marketing appeared beside my desk, his genuine concern evident in his warm brown eyes. Unlike most people at the office, he seemed to see past my carefully constructed professional facade. Just the usual juggling act. Speaking of which, I should get back to it. I turned back to my computer, trying to ignore both James' lingering presence and Monica's knowing smirk. My phone buzzed with another message from my mom. "Don't forget the extra mortgage payment this month, sweetheart. Your father and I are so proud of how responsible you've become." The years of supporting my parents while trying to build my own life had become a delicate balancing act. Each month, I would transfer not just the regular mortgage payment, but extra to pay it off early. Or so I thought. As I scrolled through another stack of work emails, my mind wandered back to 3 years ago, when this all began.
"You should be thinking about buying a house now, Catherine,"
my father had said over Sunday dinner.
"Not for yourself, of course. That would be selfish. Your mother and I need stability in our retirement."
The memory made my stomach clench. I had been barely settling into my career, still sharing an apartment with Monica to save money. "Catherine, do you have a moment? I'd like to discuss your team's performance this quarter." Linda Parker's voice snapped me back to the present. My boss stood at my office door, tablet in hand. The next few hours passed in a blur of meetings and presentations. By late afternoon, I was finally catching my breath when my phone lit up with a text from Vivian. "Hey sis, when are you visiting Mom and Dad next? I have amazing news." I stared at the message, feeling the familiar mix of love and resentment that my sister always stirred in me. The last time Vivian had amazing news, she'd announced her whirlwind marriage to David, a real estate agent she'd known for 3 months. "Probably this weekend. Everything okay?" "Perfect. David and I will be there too. You're going to be so excited."
"Dinner plans tonight? You look like you could use a break from that screen."
James' voice pulled me from my thoughts. He leaned against my office door frame, his casual confidence both irritating and appealing. "Rain check? I need to review these mortgage statements before the weekend. One day you'll have to tell me the full story about this house situation." If only he knew. But how could I explain that at 28, I was essentially supporting 2 households, my own modest rental, and my parents' mortgage, all because of an obligation I couldn't seem to shake. That Friday evening, I decided to drive to my parents' house. The autumn sunset painted Brooklyn streets in shades of gold and red as I made my way through familiar neighborhoods. My mind drifted to the countless weekends of my childhood spent at the dining room table, studying while Vivian played outside with neighborhood kids.
You'll thank us one day, Catherine.
My mom's voice echoed from the past. Back then, I'd believed them. Now, at 28, I wondered if the price of their investment would ever stop increasing. As I pulled up to the house I'd been paying for, I noticed Vivian's red BMW in the driveway. The sight of it triggered another memory. My parents co-signing for that car while I was still paying off my student loans. The porch light cast a warm glow on the freshly painted door. At least they were maintaining the place well, I thought to myself.
Kate, what are you doing here?
Vivian opened the door in loungewear, looking surprisingly at home. Her perfectly styled hair and manicured nails were a stark contrast to my work-rumpled appearance. Thought I'd surprise Mom and Dad. Are they home?
Oh, they moved out a few weeks ago. Didn't they tell you?
The casual way she delivered this news made my head spin. Moved out? What do you mean they moved out? This is their house.
Well, actually, they gave it to me and David. You know, since we're planning to start a family soon, they thought we could use the stability.
Time seemed to stop. The house I had bought, the mortgage I was still paying, given away without even a word to me.
Isn't it exciting? This is actually what I wanted to tell you. David and I are trying for a baby, and Mom and Dad thought having a proper family home would be perfect for us.
Each word felt like a physical blow. Vivian's radiant smile only made it worse. Where are they living now?
They got this cute apartment across town. Really modern, with a doorman and everything. They seem really happy there.
My hands gripped the steering wheel tightly as I drove across town, Vivian's cheerful voice still ringing in my ears. Each traffic light seemed to pulse in sync with my growing anger. The cute apartment complex loomed before me, its modern facade suddenly seeming like a mockery of everything I'd sacrificed.
Catherine? What a lovely surprise. Come up, darling.
Mom's voice through the intercom was bright and casual, as if she hadn't just orchestrated a complete betrayal of my trust. The elevator ride to the third floor felt endless. Each floor number lighting up was another moment for my fury to build. How could you do this? The words exploded from me as soon as my mother opened the door.
Do what, sweetheart? Come in, I just made some tea.
Give away the house, my house, to Vivian without even telling me.
Lower your voice, Catherine. The neighbors will hear.
My dad emerged from their modern living room, his stern expression all too familiar from my childhood.
Darling, we thought you'd understand. Vivian needs the stability. She's planning to start a family.
Besides, you're doing so well in your career. The mortgage payments are hardly a burden for you.
Hardly a burden? I've been living with roommates, skipping vacations, working overtime, all to pay for a house you just gave away.
Don't be dramatic, Catherine. You've always been so independent. Vivian needs our support more than you do.
The familiar dynamics of my childhood came rushing back. Vivian needing, me providing, our parents enabling. I want to see the mortgage statements. All of them. We're going to the bank tomorrow.
There's no need for that. I can tell you the balance.
Something in his quick response made my suspicions flare. No, Dad. We're going to the bank together tomorrow. I want to see the official records.
This is ridiculous. After everything we've done for you.
Everything you've done for me? You mean the education you never stop reminding me about?
We spend every penny of our savings on your education. Look where it got you. A prestigious job, a great salary.
And I've been paying you back. The mortgage payments are more than double what you spend on my education." The next morning at the bank, my worst fears were confirmed. The extra payments I'd been making, supposedly to pay off the mortgage early, had never reached the bank account. Where is the extra money I've been sending? I've been paying almost 1.5 times the monthly payment.
Well, we needed that money for rent and living expenses.
The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Not only had they given away the house, but they'd been using my extra payments for their own expenses. "You've been stealing from me?"
Don't be dramatic. We're family. Besides, with your salary, you can afford it.
Something inside me snapped. Years of guilt, obligation, and resentment crystallized into perfect clarity. No more. I'm done. I left the bank, my father's protests fading behind me. The betrayal felt physical, like a weight pressing on my chest. "They did what?" "Kate, this is beyond toxic. It's criminal." Monica's outrage over lunch the next day was validating. For years, she'd witnessed my struggle with family obligations. "I've made my decision. I'm stopping the payments."
What will happen to your credit score? The house is in your name, right?
Actually, it's in Dad's name. I made sure of that when I bought it. Probably the only smart decision I made in this whole mess. "Everything okay? You seem distracted today." James caught me staring blankly at my computer screen later that afternoon. "Just family drama. Nothing new." "Want to talk about it over dinner?" No pressure, but sometimes an outside perspective helps. For the first time in days, I felt a genuine smile form. "You know what? Yes, I'd like that." Over dinner that evening, I found myself telling James everything about the house, the payments, the years of manipulation. "Kate, they've been using you as their personal bank. You need to stop this cycle." "I already did. I'm not making any more payments." The first month without sending a payment felt strange but liberating. As expected, the calls started immediately.
"Catherine, please. We can't afford the mortgage payments. You can't just abandon your family like this."
Abandon the family? Like you abandoned my trust when you gave away the house? Mom's sobs on the other end of the line didn't affect me the way they used to. Years of emotional manipulation had finally lost their power.
"Your sister needs this house. She's going to have a baby."
Then let her pay for it. Or better yet, let her and David buy their own house, like normal adults do. I hung up and blocked their numbers. For the first time in my adult life, I felt in control.
"Kate, you're being incredibly selfish. How could you do this to our parents?"
Vivian's message came through a mutual cousin's phone, since I'd blocked her number too. "The house is yours now, Viv. So are the payments." The weeks that followed were both challenging and liberating. I threw myself into work, grateful for the distraction. "You know, I've never seen you more focused. It's like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders." He was right. Despite the family drama, I felt lighter. My team at work noticed too. Projects were completing ahead of schedule, and Linda had mentioned a possible promotion. Then, 3 months after I stopped the payments, Uncle Henry called. "The house is being put up for auction, Catherine. Neither Vivian nor your parents could keep up with the payments." "I'm not surprised, Uncle Henry. Was there something they expected me to do about it?" "They're hoping you'll step in and save the house. But personally, I think you've done more than enough." "Thank you, Uncle Henry. You're the first family member who said that." Sometimes people need to face the consequences of their actions, even if they're family. 6 months later, I sat in a real estate office, signing papers for my own apartment. James held my hand under the table, while Monica bounced excitedly in her chair.
"I can't believe you found a place in Chelsea. This is amazing, Kate."
"It's nothing fancy, but it's mine. All mine." The apartment was modest but perfect, a one-bedroom with large windows and a small balcony. Most importantly, it was bought with my own money, for myself.
To new beginnings?
To new beginnings. Later that evening, as we unpacked boxes in my new home, my phone lit up with an unknown number. It was my father.
Catherine, we need to talk about buying another house.
I looked around at my own apartment, at James arranging my books, at Monica organizing the kitchen, at the life I was finally building for myself. No, Dad, we don't. I hung up, turned off my phone, and joined my friends in unpacking. Through my new windows, the Manhattan sunset painted the sky in shades of possibility. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from the people we love most. But sometimes those lessons lead us exactly where we need to be. As I stood in my new home, surrounded by people who truly cared about my well-being, I realized that family isn't just about blood. It's about respect, support, and unconditional love that goes both ways.